Hello everyone, welcome in or welcome back to my channel. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with me today. Hello to the returning subscribers and hello to the new subscribers. If we haven't met yet, hello. My name is Amanda and this is a timeless general card reading for the collective. And this is actually going to be a singular collective message today. So instead of having cards to pick from, I was called to do a reading that allows spirit to come through to share important messages for the bulk of the community today. So because it is general and because there are a few more of you now, the messages may not resonate with everyone. So if you aren't seeing yourself or your situation in these readings, that is okay and perfectly natural. You can check another video. I have a number of them on my channel now, or you can wait for my next reading. But this is kind of just an off-the-cuff thing that I decided to do and felt called to do. So here we are. And this message is timeless. So if you come across this next week or a year from now, know that there will be a message here to help align you to your highest good and hopefully guide you to find clarity in whatever situation you are moving through at the moment. So we have our first card and we are pulling from, we've got two actually. So these don't have any phrases on them. So I will show you the cards and then I will get some information from the guidebook. And hopefully this will allow us to talk about maybe some of the messages that are trying to come through here. So this one is the Philosopher's Stone, and it infuses all of the elements. What's really interesting about this stone is that it's quite mystical, and because it kind of embodies all of the elements, it creates strength. What's super interesting is that this is a flock of birds that are also coming together to create shapes, to move, to dance in the sky, and to, as a collective, become stronger. So isn't that so interesting that I'm called to do this reading for the collective, and we are talking about collectives and bringing together our strengths, working together in harmony so that we can dance and move and create change, and maybe transmute things that are painful or hurtful or difficult. And this is, just about change, the changing of elements, the changing of shapes, the changing dynamic. And so I find this reading already super interesting, my friends. So let's grab some more oracles. All right. So, talking to the collective, already pulling some cards for the collective. What's the energy of this reading, Spirit? What would you like to talk about today? Okay. Foundation and Achievement, which is the Four of Wands in the traditional tarot. One more card. Anything else, Spirit? And maybe moving through some heartache and loss. So what's interesting about both of these is that again, this foundation and achievement isn't necessarily done by ourselves. It's not necessarily done in a vacuum or a bubble. It usually allows us or requires us to connect in with other people, to share in our heartache and loss, to build the foundation within ourselves, to have achievement in whatever we are trying to move towards. And so I'm wondering if there's someone here who is moving through heartache and loss and is looking for a sense of foundation and achievement that could potentially tap into their community. And maybe this is the community. I don't know. There is possibly somebody that can maybe assist someone else moving through heartache and loss, and to help someone with their foundation and their achievements. And so this is about putting aside all of the things that we might benefit from personally to help someone else. This is what I'm getting. And this also requires, if we are moving through difficulty, to be open to receiving that help as well, asking for help, being a little bit vulnerable, which can be a little scary and difficult. But it is about not only just giving if we have it to give, but receiving when we need it and being open and vulnerable to be able to do that with the right people. Obviously, we don't want to open ourselves to anyone and everything, especially when we are in these vulnerable states of heartache and loss. So I feel really strongly that this is the message that is coming through today. Let's get some tarot, and then we'll pull some more oracle cards at the end. So this is a completely new thing for me. So you are coming along with me for this ride of pulling oracle cards more than I usually do. I'm pulling tarot cards to give a general message for many of the collective in the room here. So if this is something that you enjoy, feel free to drop it down in the comments or check out the community tab and maybe make a comment in the post that went up about this video, because I am trying to use the community tab a little more to connect in with the people that are here and just to share information, videos, get a little more personal, right? So we have the Judgment card and the Three of Wands card. And we'll just get one more for now. And look at this, the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So that is exactly the energy that we were talking about just a few seconds ago. And look, on the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Pentacles. So I'm getting a little excited here because these oracle cards are in almost direct alignment with the tarot cards. And sometimes this is a little challenging in the pick-a-card readings, but it's actually really surprising because this is a general collective reading for everybody. It's not just for pile 1, 2, or 3. This is, I feel, a more significant message. And so it's really interesting and wonderful that these tarot cards are aligning with the oracle cards in such beautiful fashion. All right, let's get into the reading here. So we have the Judgment card. We have a card of second chances. We also have a card of looking out into our future to put intentional actions into the things that we want to manifest and bring into our lives. So if there's something that we are trying to move away from or be rid of altogether, something that doesn't really feel great, then how can we make different choices? What are those choices and actions that we can make to change that outcome, to change that result? And it usually starts with us. So where are these second chances? What is that old skin that needs to be shed in order for you to step to the edge with the Three of Wands and to be able to see a higher perspective, to look out on the horizon and to see all of your options, to see what things you want to bring in? And then we have the Six of Pentacles, which, going back to our original message, speaks to giving and receiving. Giving when you have it, receiving when you need it. And it is in the reverse position. So there is a sense of not giving when you have enough to give. It could be time, money, information, comfort. And that's okay. Sometimes we don't have that to give, and that's okay. But it's also, are we able to receive when it comes time? When we are feeling depleted, are we giving ourselves that time and that space to regenerate ourselves? When we are falling on hard times with this Five of Pentacles, it's a very difficult card. It is a card of financial difficulty. It could be a card of general feeling of scarcity or being in a really difficult place, of not feeling spiritually whole. Maybe you're having some health difficulties, maybe moving through heartache and loss, which is really getting you to question your values, your beliefs, the things that you could once lean on and commit to. So again, when we get to those more difficult moments of needing that help, out of pride and ego, are we staying in this place of, I can do it myself, I'm okay? Or are we opening ourselves up for that second chance and allowing other people to assist us in helping us move beyond and move into something else, something new, something a little more abundant and prosperous? And it doesn't necessarily have to be financial either. Prosperity, wealth, abundance can also be physical, mental, and spiritual. So again, it's about coming together, this coming together, being upheld by a community of people. And it doesn't have to be strangers, it could be friends, family, coworkers, whoever you feel most comfortable kind of falling into if you've fallen on hard times. And where are those places where you feel safe, where you feel like you can let go and really receive the healing, the guidance, the comfort, the safety? Where are those places? Who are those people that can offer you a sense of foundation at this time? And if you are one of these people who can offer that, how can you offer that and offer your support in that way? So I'm actually, again, we're going to do something a little different again. And we're going to get oracle cards as clarifiers for each one of these. I don't know why, but you know me, I always like to try new things, stretch my muscles, my spiritual and creative muscles here on the channel. And also just do things as I'm called to do them. And sometimes that doesn't have a rhyme or reason. I'm just following my guidance, my heart, my intuition, kind of those little pings that I get, which I'm starting to get more of, I must say. Now that I'm a little more into my practice, meditating a little more, getting into a little more form of, a few more forms of divination. So it's getting interesting and I am here for it and I am open for that. All right, so let's look at this judgment. Let's get a card for judgment, clarifying card for judgment, please. And this card, whoops, there we go. I was going to say this deck, not these cards, don't usually have flippers. So, and here we go, flippers. Immerse. So, what can you immerse yourself in that will help you at this time? It could be a physical activity. It could be connecting in with people, maybe your higher self, that community we talked about. It could also be dreams as well, journaling, books. Some of you may find being near water helpful, maybe even working with water to cleanse. Okay, that's Three of Wands. Let's see this Three of Wands. Three of Wands. Could you clarify with one card, please, Spirit, for Three of Wands? Let's try that. See, there we go. Surrender. That's a beautiful, beautiful clarifier for you for this one. Because it requires you, in order to consider our intentions, we must pause and surrender to kind of what is the reality of our situation, without judgment. Even though judgment is here, I think we have to release that judgment of ourselves, because you are moving on to new things here. And that's the most important thing, is that there's a willingness here to move forward, to look into your future and decide something different, make new choices, attract the things that you want. And this is a new path, quite possibly. So it's going to require a bit of surrender as you step into this. It's going to require a sense of an open mind, an open heart, to be able to see those breadcrumbs of where you should be going, who you should be connecting in with. So 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Clarify the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So we have barrier here. And barrier, I mean, being in reverse is so interesting that it's in reverse. And so there is a blockage to receiving, a blockage to maybe giving yourself up to the process, giving yourself up to surrender, immersing yourself in this experience to a degree where you can just completely let go. Let go of you doing it on your own. Let go of getting rid of old things, old thought patterns, old behaviors. There is, and this one I just saw the butterflies. If you take this path, I feel like transformation is ready for you to be had. And I think this is the key to that transformation. Because I feel there's a readiness here, a spiritual readiness. There is a will and a way and an intention here. But the actions to getting there is not quite where it needs to be. So I think being the barrier to your foundation and achievement here and moving on from this heartache and loss that you've experienced is that you're blocking yourself from actually walking the pathway. You know, this isn't necessarily going to be for everybody, but what are the blockages and barriers at the moment? I mean, I am making an assumption here because of what the cards are saying. The 6 of Pentacles in reverse is a blockage. There's some blockage to maybe receiving or giving too much of yourself, maybe. And then this card, barrier, clarified that. So I think there needs to be a looking into those barriers and blockages that are maybe preventing you from receiving help. You know, is it because you feel you can do it on your own? Is it because you feel a certain way about receiving? Maybe there's a worthiness there. You're not worthy of receiving. And I'm just throwing some things out there because it's going to be different for everybody here. But yeah, I think there's a call to look at these blockages, to look at the barriers that are preventing you from receiving. Maybe you don't have a community that you're tapped into yet. So maybe the task or the action is to look for that community to help. So I'm going to move this now. And I think we're going to pull from a deck that I've handcrafted. And again, I was called to do this. And because I'm financially strapped at the moment to bring in any new products or oracle decks, I just decided I would bring it to life anyway with my printer and some tarot card blanks that I had laying around that I wasn't doing anything with. So here we are, and you are going to be the first that sees these cards in their very rough form, so I do apologize. But if you have any interest in maybe seeing this deck get funded one day, definitely leave a comment to let me know. I would love to hear from you and hear what you think. So here we go. So the first thing you had is fluidity. First card that came out was fluidity. The next one is preserve. So there's also, what is interesting is that these are almost the opposite energies. You want to be in flow. You want to manifest. But you also want to preserve maybe what you have had in the past, maybe preserve your sense of dignity or your sense of who you are, your identity. So there's a preservation, but there's also a need or a want to be fluid and flexible in this process. And just out of curiosity, the bottom of the deck is rest and transform, which they're your butterflies again. Transform, explore. Yeah, explore your happiness. Like, I could go on. But I feel like maybe rest is partially the thing that you might need at this time. I mean, you could very well need that rest in order for you to really officially surrender to this. And to be able to find this fluidity, to find this openness, this movement, this transformation. And with the right people, you won't need to preserve your dignity, your identity, because the people that will help you move into a new space, maybe of more foundation and achievement, you won't need to preserve yourself for. There will be an open arms, a feeling of open arms, an openness to give, an openness to help and to share. So there's no need in that situation, when you have found that sense of community and foundation and safety, there's no need for you to preserve yourself and keep a lid on it, if you will. You can flow and allow, surrender to the process, surrender to what is happening. But I feel like rest is part of the process here as well. And transformation, I feel, is part of this. So, more oracle cards. Let's see. Am I going to move these? No, I think I'll leave them there. But yeah, these decks these cards, all of these little pieces, all of these icons I've designed over a number of years. So I thought, I'm going to bring all these together in a deck. And it's just going to be a singular icon with a singular keyword. And that way it also leaves it open to interpretation as well. So if people did have their own interpretive meaning for it, they can pull those out intuitively if they wanted to. But I also wanted it to have a keyword so that just in case nothing came to mind, they had a starting point. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, back to the reading. Spirit, could we get a card for the collective today regarding this message? What do you want them to know? What do you want them to know? I'm actually being called to another deck. We'll come back to that one, but I feel this one is calling first. There's a message in here I feel that needs to come out before the final message is pulled. So let's see. Spirit, what message do you have for the collective today? Where did it go? It flipped. I felt it. Poised. The number 48. And there's your butterfly again. And bottom of the deck is a leg up. Clean it up. Fork in the road. Yeah, so I feel like you're in a fork in the road because you're in some kind of cycle or never-ending story here. And you are poised to move on from it. You're almost, I'm feeling, in a perfect position to move on, to grow, to heal, to find your sense of foundation and achievement, to move away from whatever this heartache and loss is and to level up. And there's with the poised card, there's a readiness. It's like ballerinas, for example. They practice and they practice and they practice and they practice in order to be poised for performance. And that's what this person is. She's a ballerina fairy. And she's not only posing, but she is poised. She is ready to bring something to life, to be at her best, and to have the confidence to move forward. So that's definitely something that I feel is reflected here. with this second chance, this judgment card, there is a calling for something bigger, for something greater. And you are ready to step forward now. You are ready to step into it. And I'm just noticing my candle is bubbling and making all kinds of noise. So it's like, when you get to a boiling point, it's almost like that readiness of that energy, that pent-up energy that is ready to move. And that's also the feeling that I'm getting with that. It's like it's so hot and ready to go that it just has to move. Okay, let's get back to the card that I was trying to pull out from this deck. Spirit, can we get a final message for the collective today regarding this reading? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I get so excited when everything just aligns so perfectly. We have crossing bridges. It's time for healing, connecting, mending, and releasing. I mean, if that is not a perfect wrap up to your reading, I don't know what is, dear collective. So that's kind of exactly what we were talking about. We were discussing in this whole reading, is that you are ready to cross the bridge here. You are ready to heal from whatever heartache and loss you've experienced. It's time. It is time. And connecting with a collective, to move, to dance, to communicate, to be directed by and or direct, to lead. And then the Philosopher's Stone, which is that stone that brings in all of the elements together so that it can create this mythical, magical, solid formation that is unbreakable. And then mending, kind of mending what was, surrendering to what was. And releasing kind of the outcomes, the expectations of yourself and the situation, of maybe even living in the moment, being a little more present, so that you can really appreciate this journey and be surprised by what's to come, because I feel like you will be surprised. You are in this space of transformation. You are in this beautiful place to move to something new that will kind of close a chapter for you in a very significant way and help you grow and expand your spiritual well-being, your personal well-being, maybe your physical well-being, and even your external world as well. Connections with new people, maybe moving into a better city or town or home, so that you can find a better sense of foundation, stability, and security. But it's going to require a little bit from you. It's going to require you to immerse yourself in this process no matter what, no matter how difficult, no matter how challenging. Continue to show up and remember what you're aiming for. Remember what you're moving away from. And surrender. Very challenging. Also, surrendering. Because it requires us to let go and release of the stories we've told ourselves, of the failures, facing the failures. But remember, every mistake and failure that you've experienced has led you to this moment, has allowed you to learn and expand, has allowed you to know what you don't want so that you can step into what you do want, and has made you completely 100% ready to shed that old skin and step into a new you, a new chapter. So follow your light, dear friends, as you cross this bridge. Move into healing. Forgive yourself. Let go of the old stories. And find your strength in not only yourself, but in the people around you. Maybe those strangers that become friends. Maybe that community that you're scared of being vulnerable with, or that support group. But I feel you'll find it, and you're going to find a better sense of foundation and achievement. We move from the 3 to the 4 here. So that tells me you're moving away from heartache and into a stronger you, a stronger life. But don't forget about that as you move through this process, this challenge, this difficulty. I believe in you, and I see the transformation. So go easy on yourself, friends. And I hope this general collective reading helped you today. If it resonated, you're welcome to comment below to share your thoughts, your feelings, and maybe connect with other people here. And or if you'd like to receive a personal reading or sign up to my newsletter, you can see the links for that in the description box below. And with gratitude, my lovely people, I'm sending you all my love and all my luck. And maybe we will see you in another collective reading. If not, my next picker card will be out shortly. Bye for now.